My name is Marshall Barris. I'm with my home group real estate, also the CEO of Phoenix House Hunters team. I'm here with some good friends from Navi Title. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Lance Billingsley, Vice President of Development.
And I'm Carrie Schuyler, Sales Executive, Marketing, Social Media Extraordinaire at Navi Title.
And you've been doing a lot of absolutely on fire on different social media with, I believe is it the Red Suit Realtor or the Red Suit Investor? Go ahead. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Red Suit Investor.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of these strategies came when you're out in the field and you're realizing that most of your target audience has the same issue, which is how do I generate leads online and how do I get more exposure on social media? It's hard to figure out the algorithm, and you're like, I put all this effort into this one video. Why did it only get 800 views?
Yeah.
So a lot of realtors were having the same struggles, and Red Suit Realtor is just a little part of the equation, but a lot of my business comes from helping agents figure out how to break the mold online.
Now, I remember where we first met was you were doing luxury home tours, and that's phenomenal. Usually on Thursdays, how's that going?
Yeah, I do my Reels Masterclass. We were doing that every single Thursday. I went from a $500,000 property and in a couple months was up to a $16 million property with hundreds of agents coming. The biggest thing that I learned was number one, consistency. And Lance talks about this a lot in his podcast. Consistency is so important, and quality. I brought quality and value every single week. And now I'm at the point where I'm doing enough business that I don't need to do that every week anymore. And I think that it makes it so that when I am doing these classes, twice a month, it's a lot more intentional and the right people are in the room.
That's great. Yeah, because there is a difference between being too comfortable and being intentional. So I'm glad that you're being intentional with that.
What do you think of the classes?
I think that they're phenomenal. I love going to them. It's got all the right vibes, all the right tools there. There's always different values for every type of realtor, whether you're just starting out, you're mid-level, or you're a team lead and you have your own team to guide through this market, because this market is definitely a unique one. And I always say it's mindset. One of the things that I like to preach, but it's been a little tough. So
It is that's for sure. And that's why everybody's getting creative, right? We've got technology on one side, we've got working hard on the other.
Yeah.
Where does it meet, and where does it become like the perfect storm for us?
Exactly. I'm to the point now where I get up and I check my messages on social media, and a lot of friends are always saying, hey, do this or do that. And it's always just some realtor dancing and
Every time.
mimicking some type of thing. And I'm like, no, I won't do that. But then 24 hours later, I'm like, man, maybe I should be doing that.
Maybe I should scream at the screen a little bit louder. Maybe that works. Yeah.
And a little bit about yourself, Lance?
Oh, Lance Billingsley. I've been in the industry a long time. I had hair and no gray beard when I started back in those days, Marshall. I've been co-owner of a small brokerage. I had a team, very successful team in town, and then I merged that team. I ran one of the big mega teams in town. I've launched some Zillow initiatives for Zillow nationwide. Currently, I'm just one of the vice presidents and one of the founding members over at Navi Title.
Yeah.
And for the local realtors, as you all know, ARMLS, I am the 2025 and 2026 chair of the board of directors for them. So I'm still super active in the real estate space. Still have my broker's license. I just happen to now get a check from a title company.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's all right.
It does work out, right?
Yeah.
And then how long you been with Navi Title?
We launched in January of 2021, and the owner and I were literally the only two people in the building for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Until I wasn't even able to go out because we didn't have a sales team, we didn't have an escrow team, we only had one title person.
Yeah.
So we sat in a room about the size of this and went, what do we do now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Lance, why are there I don't even know this answer myself. Why are there so many title companies in the Valley?
Well, I think a lot of people think they're super easy to start, right? And then people also think there's a ton of money in it. It's just like anything. It's like starting a brokerage or a team or anything in the real estate space or on the lending space. Is they think it's a lot easier. They know 5 or 10 people that will send them business, but when those people aren't doing business, that's where the problem is, right? And you also have a lot of joint ventures that are run through the state now, and those all have their own breakoff title, right? They're their own company name under the umbrella of another. So Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who think they can do it. It's super hard to do. Our timing was well, and we're a super relationship-based business. So connections and people that we knew when we launched really helped.
I love that you said you're relationship based. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we were talking about right before we turned on the camera was Michael Mayer. And when I first started with real estate here in Arizona, I was big into Michael Mayer and his 7 levels of community. Yeah, 7 level, huge. And really, what he said is basically safeguard your business by, protecting it. Don't buy leads and be a relationship-based real estate agent. And I think that's exactly what's carried me through the past 3 or 4 years. Sometimes some of the agents are hurting and they're like, they've been going out of business and saying, what do we do? What do we do?
Well, you know what, Marshall? Here's what I think. And to Michael's point, the 7L is tremendous. He's been on the show. I consider him a buddy. I could text him and go,
Yeah.
hey, I'm writing this book. What do you think? Give me some advice. And he's been great about that. I think that the difference is that you use the word mindset. Are we working with the mindset of abundance or mindset of I've got nothing, right? And where's the opportunity in this market is where most people don't look. I'm a believer, and I wrote a book called The 13%, based on the success versus the failure of real estate professionals.
Right.
And we can go into that at some point, but the idea of today's technology with work ethic, with the structure that people are being provided with CRMs, with dialers and with things that grade you in the Sierras and the Shilohs, like all those that exist. I'm a believer now that if you fail in today's real estate industry, you tried really hard to do it. Like it's just built for success, but no one still is successful.
I think there's no real accountability sometimes.
Well, accountability is the master number, right? It's who's going to put their foot on my neck?
Exactly. I'll put my foot to the flame, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I see is we all know what to do, but we just don't do it.
I have a really good class on that. It's knowing versus doing. I know I should eat better and go to the gym every day, but do I? Right? I drive past it.
Why are you looking at me directly? No. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Listen,
It's a personal attack.
anytime
I get it.
Marshall, every time I drive past my gym, I go, there's my money. There's my deposit. Yeah.
And then when you fail, you're going to fail. People fail. And you know what? I think what we need to learn in the real estate community right now is it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. But the issue is you just got to get back on the horse. You got to re-push yourself right back into the game. Did you read my book already? No, I haven't. Why?
Let's go!
I there was 2 train of thoughts. One is, I always put it off.
Yeah.
Right. Which is the honest truth. But the other thing is I wanted to have a first genuine experience with you.
Yeah.
And kind of pick your brain about your books.
Yeah, happy to. And we can talk about any level you want. But I can tell you, people ask me all the time how I came up with the 13%.
Yeah.
And I was asked to do a podcast by one of the large associations here in town. And we actually, some of the CEOs and the people who lead our volunteer side, which is the associations, I just happened to be at a table having dinner with them, and they went, "What are you going to call it?" And I went, I don't know. I thought that my first one was pretty witty, right? How the F did you get here? And I'm like, I can't do that because that might make some people squeamish. And I put out a post that said, why do people fail in real estate? And I had almost 400 answers. And it was all the things you're talking about. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't have the good leads. I have bad leadership.
Yeah.
I'm lazy. I didn't get it's always
No one says they're lazy.
It's always someone else's fault, right? Or they're lazy is probably a better thing. And I thought it's super easy to talk about why people fail, but that's all we hear every day.
Right.
Is why are you no good at what you do?
Yeah.
So I decided to really focus on the 13%. Where that comes from is the NAR. The NAR themselves put out a stat that says 50% of all realtors fail in their first year, and 87% fail by their 5th year. And I say, well, I don't want to talk about the 87. Let's talk about the 13.
Right.
So that's where this came about.
I love that.
And I literally wrote an entire book on it. 25,000 words that I threw away.
Yeah.
I just, Navi started to grow. I started a business with my son, and just life started to happen. And I just sat in a spreadsheet or in a Word doc.
And you tossed it all out?
So I had a friend who came to me and went, talk to me about this book thing. And she had written a number of books with people.
Yeah.
And we had been meeting once a week, and she goes, tell me about this book. And I sent it to her, and she goes, let's retool it. So when we retooled it and came up, it's still the 13%, but now I came up with an acronym called FIRE. And then really it started with what you just talked about. our minds are built to protect us from the second we come out of the womb.
Yeah.
Don't touch that fire. It's hot. Don't fall out of that seat. It hurts.
Yeah.
Right.
Fear.
Yeah. And what happens with this industry or any 1099 industry is I have to fail before I succeed. And in an industry where the average conversion rate is anywhere from 1% to 3%, I have to talk to 97 people before I get to one that's a maybe. Right. So this business is built on failure. And what I find the difference really is the people that make it are the ones who figured out how to fail better than the others.
And one of the things I coach is collect those no's.
Yeah.
Because you got to get those no's if you're going to get to the A's.
But what's the data walking into the no? And more importantly, what's the data walking out of the no? That's what we don't do well. We get the no and we go, darn it, I'll get better next time. Now with today's technology, the team I used to run, when I left, I had 75 agents that worked for me. At one point, we were 250 agents. And if you went to a listing presentation and came back and didn't get it, you knew that you were going to call that seller back and you were going to ask them why you didn't get it.
Right.
Very, very few agents operate
metrics. Find out why.
I can't. It's data over drama. That's the old saying, right? But if I just walk in and go, darn it, I missed on it. Well, that may be a significant commission that you weren't prepared for, and now you didn't learn from to prepare for the next one. You just wing it again.
Right.
So, especially with today's technology, Marshall, I can go to and fail. That's cool. Did I learn from it? And what did I learn? And what are the data metrics that I can adjust to not do it again? Because I can practice meeting Marshall 50 more times before I meet him again.
Absolutely. You definitely want to always make sure to figure out what you're doing wrong or how you can learn from the experience. Right?
Sure.
Well, I want you to expand on the analogy of the games, of the playoff games.
Oh yeah, I get asked a lot of times, and when I'm blessed, Marshall, to be able to speak around the country at this point. And I consistently get asked by people who are either struggling or new in the industry, like, give me some tips on how I survive. And I can go work harder, get better leads, try better. I mean, all that nonsense. But those are like walking into a doctor's office and seeing a picture of a wolf and it says courage. Like, I don't, those don't correlate to me. Like, why is that in a dentist's office and why am I looking at a wolf? What are we doing? Or a whale's tail that says you can do it. You know what? None of it ever makes sense. So I tell three things to people is I say, every single day you put your head down at night, did you build trust with at least one person in any space that shows that you're the person they should ask something about in real estate? Very first thing, did I build trust today with a consumer somewhere? And how do I build trust? Face to face.
Right.
Not posts, right? Posts. And now posts aren't even about likes. Posts are all about views. So I'm not even connecting with that person anymore.
Exactly.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is, after I figured out, did I do it? Tomorrow, what are 3 revenue generating things that I'm going to do, right? What are 3 tasks I'm going to do? And I talk all the time, do all your $8 an hour work before 8 a.m. So 8 before 8. And then the analogy, I just kind of came up with it recently. And I think maybe in one of our meetings, I think what we try to do as agents is we try to do everything really well and we don't do anything specifically well.
Yeah.
The 13% are always laser focused. Their successes, they push all in on, and their failures, they push away from immediately. They don't let that failure continue to suck their time or their money or their energy. I think there's a super easy analogy for this, and I give you a really quick story, Marshall. I was in San Antonio and talking to a group there.
Yeah.
And I got off the plane, and there was no one on the freeway at 7 o'clock at night, and I wondered why, and I realized that the Spurs were playing, and that city eats, lives, and breathes their Spurs basketball.
Right.
And the next day it hit me. I said, do you guys remember when your best player bounced his face off the floor and got a concussion? Were you all panicked? And everybody went, yeah, we thought this was over.
It was a gas.
I said, but what happened the next day, right? So in order to win that playoff series, how do I win a playoff series, Marshall? I have to win 4 out of 7 games, and then I move to the next round.
Absolutely.
No matter what sport I'm in, other than football, every other sport is win 4 out of 7. My point to them was he lost that day, but he came back the next game as though nothing had happened and they swept through.
Right.
We as realtors need to operate every single week like it's a 7-game series.
Yes.
I don't have to win all 7 games. I have to win 4 of 7. But if I don't show up Monday or Tuesday because life happened.
Right.
I got to win 4 out of 5, man.
Yeah.
I can't lose the series.
It's missed opportunity.
It's a series. Like, and what we don't think of is you have people come in the industry, you go, I've got to solve everything now. No, I need to win today.
Yeah.
How do I win? I create revenue generating tasks. I build trust, and I do everything that is on the low pay scale before I need to go meet people that makes them a high pay scale.
Yeah. A lot of value right there. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's similar to, and I like what you said about the A before 8, because so many people want to get all those little things done. And then it's like, oh, well, I got to go do this before I make my calls, or I got to go do that before my calls. I just want to make sure that there's nothing else on my own mind.
Yeah.
And before they know it, it's 3, 4 o'clock and standing.
Everyone's going to bed.
We're sitting next to a guru of video. That's her superpower, is how do I do content and create it?
Absolutely.
But she's not doing transactions in terms of real estate sales. She's doing transactions in terms of helping realtors.
Right.
But a shoot that she does takes hours to get there, to set up, to do. That's great and that's tremendous, but that's not revenue generating.
Right.
It's content creating, and it's maybe engaging with the hope that I get as a realtor, not on the sales side, but as a realtor, the hope that someone swims by, sees it and goes, that's cool. Maybe I'm ready to buy a house. Let's call Lance.
So,
Oh, well, on that note, though, when you're talking about what was the one thing that you did to build trust with someone, if I think about trust, good content and
Absolutely.
that is trust on a scalability factor that you couldn't ever achieve face to face. Like
Without a doubt.
the amount of people that say yes to a meeting immediately and they're like, how did I not know who you were? Immediately, if they see my Instagram, they're like, yes, a meeting, not a problem.
And what we do know, Carrie, is that everybody's watching now. They may not engage like they used to. They may not comment. They may not like. They may not anything, but they always see you. Right? And even
Everyone I talk to is like, you're the one that pops up on my stories every day.
I have kind of built this little, I don't do a lot of social anymore in terms of building our brand. I let our sales team do that. Yeah. But when they tag me, I'm always in it. Or now if I'm walking into an event or I'm walking into a meeting, I will shoot a little thing of me walking in. I'll shoot. And what that has built is, man, Lance, you are just so busy. How do you control it all?
Yeah.
Which now leads me into an opening of creating my own version of trust. You're going, well, this is how you do it. You can do the same thing. It's just perception that I'm busy, but everything is in a box, in a category. And I know what I'm going to do before I do it because I've done it so many times. To your point, exactly, is building that trust. The tracking for a realtor that's different than the sales side is, okay, I built the content. It looks great. It's amazing. But what's the follow-up been to it? What's the connection been to it? And by the way, when you run into Marshall and you go, man, Marshall, that house you have, I saw it. That thing looks great. What do you want to know about it? I've got 10 more of that look just like it. You want to go look? Like, that's the trust factor.
Yeah. I had
based on the content.
friends of mine, Todd and Shannon from older brokerage that we used to be at together, would always impress upon their team and the rest of the brokerage itself. Fortune is in the follow-up. Oh, and it is all in anything you do. Fortune is always in the follow-up, and the follow-up starts as soon as you leave.
You want to hear some big numbers on that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
89% of all consumers in the United States, no matter if you hear from Zillow, if you hear from Salesforce, if you hear from the NAR, 89% do not remember the name of the agent who represented them in the buying of their house.
Yeah.
89%. Meanwhile, 80%, the data says 80% of all real estate databases are dead because no one's touching them.
Yeah.
I hear those and go, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity.
Yeah.
Marshall, if you don't want to talk to your people, I'm happy to help them.
Right. Yeah.
I'm happy. By the way, you don't want to call them, give them to me. I'll give you 25% referral on all of them. You don't even have to pick up the phone, man.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah.
What's the opportunity? And are you working with the idea that the person who meets you, the data is 79%. It's funny how they're all in the 80s.
Yeah.
79% of all real estate transactions right now are done through referral. Right. So what it's telling me is, you're not a big fan of the real estate experience as a consumer. You don't remember the last person you talked to. You get probably some emails that you don't really care about. We call those drip campaigns.
Right.
Like those no one opens or cares about.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're relying on your friend Carrie to tell you about a guy named Lance who he helped buy a house.
Right.
That's this industry. So when a person is in front of you and makes a call, it's because they forgot someone else's name.
Yeah.
So are you impacting them at that point where it's just, hey, are you punching them in the nose to get their attention?
Yeah.
Or are you going to pat them on the head and go, good luck with your next look?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to definitely take. You have to cap the. What's the word I'm looking for? You have to take advantage of every opportunity you get. Yeah, because if you don't follow up, it's just going by the wayside. So for all the newer agents that are out there, what would you say would be the number one? So we have strategies, right? I would like to talk about different strategies. What would be the number one strategy you would say to start getting them in movement in this actual market?
If I'm a brand new agent.
Brand new agent.
Nice. I would do a couple of things. I would go on AI, and I whatever one you use, and I would pick a farm or pick an area, and I would know who's number one in the area. If let's just hypothetically say you are dominating zip code 12345.
Yeah.
I would know every move you make before you make it. I'd know everything about you. I'd know when you're going to post. I know when you're going to do open houses. I know everything about your team. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to beat you by an hour or a day every day.
Got it.
And I'm coming right at you.
That's diabolical.
I'm coming right at you.
And that's taking market share, right? That's what you're doing. You're going after market.
Listen, I can't play the game. We're sitting next to the football stadium and an old hockey stadium.
There you are.
I can't play the game if I don't know what plays you're going to run.
Yeah.
But if I know all your plays, I probably have a pretty good chance of beating you every day. And by the way, I'm going to do all that. Then I'm going to have it build all of my open house templates. We're still in decent weather right now.
Yeah.
All my open house templates, everything I'm going to learn. The next thing I would do is I would build 5 avatars of the people that scare me the most.
Yeah.
Like who scares someone the most? Maybe a first-time home buyer, maybe a second home buyer, maybe someone that
Really wealthy
maybe
people.
someone with a bad credit score.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe someone whose mom and dad are involved in the transaction. I would build them and I would practice the heck out of working with them. And I tell people all the time, Marshall, do me a favor. I know we were joking on the gym. Next time that you're at the gym and you're on your treadmill, who is it that scares you? I'll tell you who scares me. It's a single parent who's never owned a house, with a credit score of 600, who has a job that's 16, 18 bucks an hour, and mom and dad are going to be a part of this. They may sign off on it. That buyer scares me.
Yeah. Once you said mom and dad, I was good. Thomas agreement.
Yeah. I'm out. And so what I would do is I would go, Marshall, build that avatar.
Right.
And every hour you are training at the gym or you're just going for a walk, put in your headset and say, listen, we are going to have a conversation and I don't want you to ever agree with me.
Right.
And then counterpoint. Then when I get in front of that person, I already know all the answers to the test.
Right.
It's easy.
Yeah.
So I've learned what you do really well as an agent. I can copy what you do. I'm going to train on who's the typical buyer in that market.
Right.
I'm going to know all the data that people want to know in that market. I'm going to put you out of business as best as I can.
Right. So we're looking at training with objections and getting those objection handlers in your pocket so that you can just
laser focus. If there's a theme with the 13% is they don't hope.
Right.
There's no hope. This isn't a hobby.
You're trained.
Yeah, I am laser focused that I am going to knock that target down today. And when I don't knock it down well, I'm going to fix it, adjust it, and knock it down tomorrow. And then I'm going to just duplicate it.
All right.
Hit rock bottom and become a realtor. Then you have no choice. Got to make it work.
Yeah. Let's throw one more different type of agent. The agent who's been around for a long time is kind of stagnant.
Yeah, and they're the ones who are typically scared of what's happening in technology. Right? Is dive into it. And I hear all the time, I mean, we all kind of deal with our own version of AI, right?
Right.
Is find one, get really, really good at it and focus on it. Or find a new accountability partner. I've coached thousands of agents in the country, and inevitably a person will call me and go, this isn't working anymore. Let's change the relationship. Great. Go find a new coach. Go find a new, use the word accountability.
And I love that you use the word accountability partner, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that piece right there, you're not, it's like I always say, when a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound, right? So I break it down. People are like, yeah, of course it makes a sound. I say it doesn't. If no one was there to hear it, didn't make a sound.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be there. You have to be able to account for it to make sure that it gets done. One of the biggest pieces that I've seen, even from, I think it was my dad who instilled this to me the most, was that when you do something, you know, I usually take a picture and I send it to them. That way they know. And then people were like, well, don't you want to just let them know I did it? I'm like, yeah, I could let them know I did it. But when I show them a picture, it's like 100% accountability that it got done. You know, and it makes me feel good being able to communicate that back that it got done. So accountability
to consumers, for sure. Again, let's give some data points. The consumer now only wants 3 things from the realtor: your knowledge, your experience, and transparency, the first 2.
Yep.
Every day, I am going to take some pictures of something that go, I'm the person who has the knowledge.
Right.
I'm the person who's experienced that before, and I'm going to tell you how bad it went. That's the transparency to it.
Yes.
Right. And our consumer, what we get lost on, Marshall, is we sold 4 million homes in 2025 in the entire United States.
Yeah.
Worst real estate market we've experienced in 30 years. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Meanwhile, people are still selling homes. So people are still
Someone's
buying
still
homes.
got to sell them.
Someone's doing deals. But with that happening, the average consumer doesn't shop that way. The average consumer shops electronically, right? Whether it's through Amazon or all. And by the way, Amazon doesn't own the books they sell, or the widgets they sell.
Right.
Uber doesn't own the cars that their people drive. Grubhub doesn't own the restaurants.
Yeah.
But it's still service. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So why would we change the service when it gets to the real estate side and just go back to 1982,
Right.
when the consumer every day, put in perspective, Grubhub gets approximately 10 million hits an hour worldwide.
Wow.
We sold 4 million homes last year, all year.
Yeah.
Why are we changing?
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the another adaptation that I hope that your people that are watching and listening, I hope that they learn to make that.
But how do you see that on like a micro level? Like how do you see that adaptation coming into play every day for a realtor?
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Everybody's using Uber.
Yeah.
Right. So if I know I want to go to Mesa, Arizona, and I know the address, I get on my phone and I picked it out and they go looking for a driver. And then they find me one. And what do they say? Driver's on the way. Driver will be here in 8 minutes. Driver will be here in 7 minutes. Driver's driving a blue car with the license plate. This is his name. So there's predictability to it. Right. Now that I get picked up, and by the way, every one of you people that have listened on this or are watching on this, every one of you has had that spinning car on your Uber, where you're on the app and it starts spinning and you lose your mind because you're going, why are you spinning? I can see your car. You're down the street. I can see. That's frustrating on a $30 Uber. Imagine what it's like on a $600,000 purchase.
Right.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we don't explain the next step to the consumer over and over and over again.
Okay.
The transparency of Uber is, I know there's no secret. There's no, like, if it goes sideways, I get mad and confused. Meanwhile, we have agents out there who don't discuss the appraisal contingency until it happens.
So it's a next step process and a roadmap.
Number one complaint, according to the NAR, number one complaint from consumers is my agent did not tell me what to expect next. Not communication, not money, not any of that. They didn't tell me what to expect next. The consumer is used to shopping and using Uber.
Why do you
Don't
think that
change.
is? Why do you think that is, Marshall?
I think because what happens is there's so much to go into, and there's so many variables in which way the escrow process of buying a home when on day one when it starts, it can go. It can go so many different ways.
Never the same.
That's why you need to use Navi Title for other transactions. Predictability, quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That is why I use your escrow officers. I mean, I've been working with some escrow officers where if it starts to go sideways, I have to make sure that I get in the game and I start taking over. Where's the ball at? Who do I need to call? Is it the lender? And then, with the lender, who do I need to call? What department? Because there's all these different departments. There's the closing department, underwriting. It depends on where the ball is at and what needs to get pushed. Now, for me, when you're looking at all these different things, it's like, how much do you tell your client? You know what I mean? So what I've done is we've kind of broke it down into certain steps that are going to happen, and we give them kind of like a roadmap of, here you are on the roadmap, and it goes through a little drive, and then it shows different points of where you're going to be, and those are the main points. And then you got to set expectations.
Yeah.
You talk to your clients, you let them know, hey, this is what you're going to expect. This is who you're going to expect it from. It's going to be Fabi from Navi Title or Heather from Navi Title is going to call you, send you an email or smoke signal, whatever they're going to do.
Right.
And you should be expecting it on what day, right? And how, right? Because they want to know. They don't know. And I think this generation, the younger, Generation Z, they've been telling me, why we want to go with a realtor is because I want to be able to ask questions and know what's going on.
Yep.
A lot of times the AI is more catering to what you want to hear than it is to exactly what the real life experience is going to be. And I'm going to have questions where I want to know, what's happened before, what are the hangups, what are the pitfalls, right?
Yeah.
What do I need to avoid to make sure that we can close on time?
Can I add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did the roadmap back in the day for my team. The one thing that we didn't do that I would do now is I would say, Carrie, you're my consumer. We're starting on go. Here's what that means, right? We're going to go look at houses. By the way, it's going to be hard. And there's going to be times we get told no. And there's going to be times we send an offer that they go, we don't accept your offer. That's going to happen. Here's how we're going to handle it. As soon as we're under contract, we open escrow. Here's that step. That starts the day of inspection period. By the way, it's 10 days. Just so you know, in the state of Arizona, it's 10 days. If they do not respond, here's what happens. If they do respond, we have 5 days to counter their response. Those steps, by the way, I know we're now on stop 2 of this little ride that we're on. Go to my YouTube page and watch video number 3 and number 7.
Oh yeah.
Those are the 2 that changed the game. The consumers used to your Gen Zs.
Yeah.
YouTube University is the most searched place in the world.
Right.
YouTube is, right? And you're talking tens and tens of million hits an hour worldwide. Send them there and go, hey, just remember when it was hard? By the way, the inspection part, there might be some things that happen. I have 2 that went really bad with a guy named Tim and a lady named Sally. And here's what happened with them. There's a video on when we found mold, and there's a video on when the roof was bad. And here's how we solved it. I want them to tell you the story. That's the service side that we don't do well, because realtors are extremely skilled at talking about themselves and talking about what they do well and how they sold the house. And how fast you didn't sell anything. You threw out an ad and someone brought an agent, someone brought a consumer to you. Let's own it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have a question about a listing agent. So right now, the number one problem that I'm hearing is I'm not getting any showings. I'm not getting any offers. My house is on the market and I need to sell it yesterday.
Sure.
I mean, it's the same problem over and over again. And what would you say to a listing agent who is facing that right now, with high interest rates, and their sellers are expecting to make a profit? Maybe they bought in COVID and, their interest rate is locked in at a certain point. What do you say to them when they're going on their next listing appointment that, they could potentially face this same moment where they're 6 months on the market and they're way overpriced and the seller's not budging? Do you have some gates or, moats or something that you can put in?
Or moats or bridges.
Bridges or something?
Alligators and dragons.
Yeah,
Keys. You want keys and bridges.
yeah, keys and bridges that you deploy once they're at a certain point, and you have those expectations set from the very beginning to set you and your client up for success.
I'm going to be blunt for a second. I think, like I said, agents are extremely good at look at what I did. And when it doesn't go their way, they're even better at blaming something else. Right? So it's easy for me to go, well, my client has these expectations. They want 1.4 and it's worth 1.2. That's a you problem, right?
Yeah.
That is not that you're the professional in the room. They're basing their information on their desires and what they saw in a portal. That's the reality of it. And I always would advise, what's the net that I need to go? By the way, if you use COVID, if the data says if you bought in COVID, you have a rate under 4 and you have about 70% equity at a minimum. Well, do we need to make an extra 200,000 when we are already banking 600,000? What's the net to that? And then I would go into going, listen, it is a hard market. Here's the reality of how this is going to be. This is what's going to happen. And when it happens, this is how we're going to handle it. That's very different than going, I'm going to list your house. I'm going to put my show on and I'm going to, we're great with video. We're great with content. And, I sell houses this fast.
Yeah.
Well, then what happens when you don't?
Yeah.
And quite frankly, most agents are guessing at list price anyways, and they use the idea that the seller gave them the mark to shoot for.
Yeah.
Right? Marshall says he wants to list his house. Well, what do you want to list it for, Marshall? Wait,
$10 million.
well, let me go find
It's worth 300.
Right. Let me go find comps that are worth 10 million because
But mine's really special because I got
I joke
all the Govee lights. I've got, you know what I mean? But okay, so I'm being a little sarcastic. Sometimes people can't tell. I think when I'm,
by the way, I don't care. We're in South Phoenix, South San Antonio, South Tucson, South New York.
Yeah.
The highest level in our world has the offer. We all have the same client.
Yeah.
They have the nicest house and the best lot in the best community, and everybody else
Best
is inferior.
design.
And to me, it's true because that's the home they felt in love with.
Yeah.
So, going back to what we were talking about, obviously, there's for what I coach is two things, right? The price, right, is what you were saying.
Yeah.
It's price point. The second thing is what you can do is reinvent the listing, which means change up all the pictures, change up all the verbiage in your MLS, and make it look like a whole nother listing. Those are the only two things you can do. Is you should already be nailing everything else, which is the open houses, the flyering of the neighborhood, and the door knocking of the neighborhood, and all those things. But it boils down to price point, and that's a very tough conversation to have. For me, I just found to just be as honest and blunt as you can. Say, this is where we're at, and this is where I think we need to be at. And what are your thoughts? I always like to hear what they think about it.
Yeah. I think unfortunately sometimes honesty and directness can be attached directly to my experience and how many homes I've closed and my bank account. If I've done neither, I just can't win if I don't have a chip. You tell me you want to sell your $300,000 house for $3 million, let's go. Will you promise after 30 days we can adjust the price? Like, that's not fiduciary duty. That's just catering. Right. That's just being a servant.
Yes.
That's not fiduciary. You're not doing anything. Remember the old car analogy?
Yeah.
At obedience, loyalty, disclosure, all that. None of that is in there. You're just going, okay, I'm just being obedient. You tell me what, like, there's no skill to that. And we wonder why people fail out.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the net? What's the number that we need to have? And by the way, now with technology, if I show up to you as a buyer or a seller, I can have the website built. I can have all the content built. I can do that in 10 minutes on your house. Hey, I know you're not ready to list, but we've already built the website for you. How's it look?
Yeah.
What pictures do you like on this? I know they're ones that you've used before, but we'll put in our, like, it's changed the mindset of not worrying about the money. I'm worried about the service.
Right.
Analogy I've used many, many times, Marshall, is this is if you were arrested for something bad, would you pick the attorney who goes, I'll give you a discounted rate that's $30,000 and I'm like 1 for 6? Or would you go with the guy who goes, I'm $500,000, but I'm 30 for 32? You're going to go, I don't even care about the money. You're the guy who's going to win.
Yeah.
Are we offering that same level of service of going, I may try it, I've winged it a couple times, or you go, you know how lucky you are you met me today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be the solution for every problem you have in this whole transaction.
I love it. All right. Well, a little bit, we're going to close off a conversation a little bit right now, but how do we get your book?
It's super easy. I'm on Amazon. I came out of the gate, #1 in real estate, #1 in real estate investing, #1 self-employment. Look me up at Lance Billingsley on Amazon or the 13%.
I will definitely drop the links and we'll make sure to put it in the comments below.
Super proud of what it's done. In the first 2 weeks, we've sold a little under 1,400 books.
I love it.
Super great. Like, came out of the blocks, and I have a lot of friends who've come through and supported me.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And Carrie, if we want to get in line with your master classes, master reels classes?
Yeah, Instagram Carrie L. Schuyler or reels-masterclass.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
So good.